I feel like I need a hype song or something. Hold on. Hi, I'm Samu. I'm the founder of The Thread, which is a podcast that explores identity through the lens of fashion. And it's coming this summer.
So excited!
If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new, Building the Thread is my weekly series where I take you behind the scenes into the journey to bringing the thread to life. I share my lessons learned, what I'm working on, what's working, what's not, and all of that fun stuff. So I'm really excited that you've joined me on this journey. Last week, I set out to do two things. Number one was to secure a guest for the podcast. And number two was to build out my email marketing flow. I'm excited to report back that I didn't secure just one. I got 3 guests.
Yeah, boy.
Shout out to you 3 because you're the real MVPs, and I'm so excited to have you. The second thing with the email, I actually realized that I'd already done it. I want to improve it, so I'm saving that for later, but it already exists. So if you're not signed up to the email,
Oh man, what the fuck is you doing, cuz?
what are you doing? Link is in the description, so you have no excuse. Beyond that, your girl's been busy. I actually did a lot more. So number one, I put together my business plan and it's right here. I'm so excited and I'm so proud of this document. I realized that all of the things about the thread and my plan was living in my head. I've done some creative projects in the past, and what I realized is it's so easy to be taken off course as you go along the journey in building something new. So what I wanted to do is I really wanted to nail down what my vision is, what my strategy is, what my goals are for the next 12 months. That way I can just stick to the plan without deviating and at least give myself a long runway to be able to follow through with this plan. And just having it in one document for me, what it's just so helpful because I can always refer back to this if ever I'm like unsure of which way to go, what I should be doing. This will always be my North Star. But anyway, I'm super proud of it coming together. I also put like numbers in there, did research. So it's really legit. And after I was done, I was like, you know what? I could probably go pitch for some money now. So maybe I might just do that. What else did I do? Oh, I've been exploring funding, I guess related to that. So, yeah, that's one of my future action items, but it's been a good week. That brings me into my lessons learned. The first one is really around momentum. I love to bike, and if you love to bike as well, one of the things you notice when you're biking is, especially uphill too, is it's so hard to get moving. Like those first few pushes are the hardest, but once you start moving, it becomes a lot easier and you can just rest your feet and just still be coasting because you built up that initial momentum. And I think that applies also for anything that we do in life and especially for creative projects. And I'm seeing that with the thread. I got the idea to build this podcast probably September, October, sometime last year. But it's only this year that I've decided, not even this year, like last month, I decided I'm actually going to take actionable steps towards building it. And for me, the first step, which was easy for me, is like, okay, I need to just make this exist, build out a landing page for people to put in their emails. And then from there, I've just been taking small steps. And it's not been easy because I've just been a lot in my head and talking about it in my head, going back and forth. But as I told you guys last weekend, being in a room with so many incredible women at the Monday Girl Summit last weekend just helped me to be able to get out of my head and just spring into action, imperfect action. What I'm realizing is just taking those steps, like for example, putting out the video last week, talking about what I'm doing, reaching out to the guests, that was all. This is me starting to build that momentum. And as I'm going, I'm realizing it's starting to get a little bit easier to take steps to bring this to life and also a little bit clearer what my next step should be. Like I said last week, I'm not focusing on steps 1 to 100. I'm just focusing on what's that next step, or what are those next two steps that I need to take week by week in order to be able to bring this to life. And I'm finding breaking it down in that way is making it so much less intimidating, and I have that clarity on what it is that I need to be accomplishing every day, every week, to get me there. And it's been fun because I want this to be fun. I set out with the intention of creating this just to yap about fashion with those who love fashion, you know? I don't want it to be like something stressful when I'm like, oh, I have to do this. And I think breaking it down in this way is just making it so much more accessible for me and even more enjoyable. Like, I really enjoyed writing this. So I'm just so happy that I'm building this in a way that's a lot more sustainable, a lot more enjoyable, because that was really my intention when I set out to create the thread. The second one is really around the marathon mindset. So, very connected to what I've just been talking about. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I think perfectionism is just going to be a theme for me for my whole life, but that's fine. I'm aware of it, and that's what matters. And with that, I tend to want to do everything now and make it perfect, but that's just a recipe for burnout, and I know from experience now. So I'm really approaching this as a marathon for the long haul, that I don't need to do everything now. I don't need to do everything in a big way either. I just need to be taking those small actionable steps consistently. That's what matters. What matters is that I don't stop. It's that I just keep going. And I hope that for you listening, if you're building something that you want to have that longevity, to have it grow into something beautiful and become the vision that you have. I hope that you can also adapt that marathon mindset where you can give yourself that grace and that space to just take the small actionable step that you need to do, whether it's every day, whether it's every week. Just keep moving. Don't stop. And I think also what's important is just having a group of people, even if it's like one person that you can talk to. I mean, just the chat is also that if you want that accountability, just to be able to say, this is the steps that I'm taking, and have those people also hold you accountable, because you can't do it alone. The third, I think I've covered it in a way, which is just that done is better than perfect. And that's something that I've had to remind myself over and over again. Like, it needs to exist in order for it to improve. Like, we're never going to get it right the first time. I mean, like, we can, but I feel like that's a really, unreasonable standard to hold ourselves to. And I say this like consciously, but I also need to fully internalize it. But I'm just learning to just like create, send it out, create, send it out. We'll work on it later. That kind of ties into one of the things that I was able to accomplish this week, which was a website update. And I actually didn't intend to update the website. I thought it was great. But then I went back this week and then I realized that it was broken. Like, one of my images on the homepage, the image was overlapping with the text and it just looked weird. And then when I went in deeper, I realized that the subscribe buttons weren't working, which means you guys couldn't even subscribe when I was telling y'all to subscribe. But I was able to fix all of that and also align the copy with where I envision the podcast going now. And I feel like everything now just fits, and I'm really happy with it. What I'm working on this week is, number one, I need to work on my speaker systems. So just making sure I have those systems and templates in place that will help me get speakers booked and just ensure they have a great experience on the podcast. The second thing that I'm going to focus on is my podcast itself. The podcast is a product in terms of what the flow is going to be for each episode, what I want to cover, and then subsequently that'll help me with questions and stuff for guests later. And then the third thing is I also want to work on my email newsletter. Like I've said before, your girl loves an email newsletter, and I wanted to bring value. I also want it to be a joyful experience for the readers. I also want to invite you all on the journey and like share the behind the scenes and things that I'm reflecting on and the lessons. So I need to build out what that template looks like, create the first one, probably coming next week. So yeah, those are the things that I'm working on. I know last week was the first time we're trying this whole accountability group. So shout out to Michelle. I know you're working on your website. So let me know in the comments how that's going. And also, if you're working on anything that you're excited about, that you'd like to have an accountability group for, just drop it in the comments. Let's see what you're working on, what you're going to accomplish this week. And then next week, we will all come back and reconvene. But yeah, you've got this. I've got this. We've got this. And thanks for tuning in this week. I'll see you next time. Bye.